Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hey everybody, this is John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Welcome to the show. If you haven't been with us before, we like to talk about what it means to be a warrior and always give the definition. So a warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter, and the oars are important. You might not be a soldier, you might not be brave, but a lot of times I think it's hard to recognize maybe that you are experienced and you are a fighter. I mean, anything you've gone through in life creates experience, and anything you've overcome makes you a fighter. Or even if you haven't overcome it, you're still a fighter because you've tried to overcome it. And so, Deb, I'm basically going to steal this segment from you. I want to talk a little bit about being a fighter. And I'm a fighter. If you've ever seen me before, you've ever talked to me before, you know that I'm a fighter. You know, I've competed on multiple levels, the most recent being jiu-jitsu. And I carried a 10-2 record in jiu-jitsu. I had 2 losses, 10 wins. And what I love about jiu-jitsu is it really is you versus another person, but the coaching is important. And so I used to be a very aggressive person, very aggressive fighter, and I went to a counselor, and he was actually a retired naval captain, and he specialized in men's Christian counseling with a specialization of PTSD beyond that. So I had gone to multiple counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists before him, and he knew that. So we're sitting there one day, and he says, hey, man, like, does everybody try to tell you to calm down, like to get zen, the hum, get in your mind and be peaceful and rewire yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, every single one of them says that. Everybody I've been with before. I'm like, but it doesn't work. He's like, that's because that's bullcrap. And I'm like, okay. And Debbie always goes to the meetings with me because I have a hard time remembering because of all my traumatic brain injuries. And I remember just watching her head slowly turn at this guy like, what are you getting at? Like, please don't tell John it's okay to be angry. You know, and he said, you are wired to be a warrior. You're wired to be a fighter. And to try to rewire that doesn't make sense at all. What you have to do is rewire what you're aiming at. So when you get mad at your family and you get mad at your friends and you loop on what you're irritated about, but then you actually have things that you should be fighting that are worth fighting and you let those go, that's the problem. Not that you shouldn't be fighting in general. And so that really resonated with me because I think we're all called to do that. I think we're all called to fight our battles and not just shrink back from them. That doesn't mean that we're not kind. That doesn't mean that we're not nice. In fact, that's the opposite. It means that we do treat our families right. We do treat our friends right. But when something comes up that you're supposed to stand your moral ground and fight to move forward, you should do that. And I was talking about something earlier today, and it was kind of about being in a fighting situation. And another thing that my counselor told me is, you've got this big, strong John. He's like, you ever lost a fight before? And I'm like, well, yeah, I've got 2 losses in jiu-jitsu. He's like, no, that's a sport. He's like, have you ever lost a fight in your law enforcement career, outside of law enforcement, just in general protecting yourself? Well, no. He's like, that's because you built this big, strong physical warrior, but your spiritual warrior is very small. And you need to train your spiritual warrior and your mental warrior the same way you've trained your physical warrior, because those are actually what's applicable in life. And what I have come up with as I started thinking, like, okay, in jiu-jitsu, I've been in some pretty bad spots. I remember at my last competition, I was competing in the AGF in the absolute division, and I had a very, very large man put me in a headlock. He was actually trying to put me in a guillotine, for those of you that know what that is. And basically it cuts off all the oxygen to your brain and makes you want to take a nap. And so I'm in this headlock. It's really deep. And I remember in those few seconds I was in there, it feels like an eternity, thinking, okay, if you lose this, you take second place. Second place isn't bad. Everybody else is going to think that's fantastic. You got a silver medal. You did great. Even though this is for the overall, it's okay. Like, just take a nap. Like, you don't have to tap even. Just let them put you to sleep. And then it'll look like you really tried. And so I remember like that much thought going into that moment. Just like in real life, we have that much thought going into, I'm just going to give up. I'm too tired. I'm too weak. I just don't feel good. I don't have it in me today. I need a mental health day. I'm too anxious. I'm too depressed. Go ahead and insert whatever excuse you have here. Let yourself get choked out, right? Well, no. I hear my coach yelling from the sidelines, put your fingers between his forearm and turn your chin. Put your fingers between his forearm and turn your chin. And I'm going to tell you what, it was quiet and it was muffled because my ears were buried between this guy's chest and his arm. But I heard it. So what did I do? I put my fingers in his elbow, in his forearm, and I turned my chin. Well, get turned. So now I could breathe a little bit. Then I hear him yelling, get your legs free. Get your hips free. He's tired. So I get my legs free. I get my hips free. And all of a sudden, I actually feel that this guy is more tired than me. He's exhausted because he's been vicing himself against me. Now, I was just ready to give up. And my coach is yelling at me, get out of it now. Get out of it. Well, I pulled my head out. I rotated to side control. And I ultimately ended up putting this guy in Americana and he had to tap out. What's the moral of this story? I could have easily given up. In fact, everybody would have applauded me for giving up. Well, you did your best. You did such a good job. Not my coach. My coach was like, get out of there. You are capable. You do not want to lose a fight that you could win. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you that's God. And the still silent voice that I heard coming through the muffled sound of my coach yelling, God is your coach. He's in your corner. When someone's throwing a punch at you, a jab or a cross, if you don't got a coach yelling at you, I'm telling you right now, as someone that's been there, you're going to get punched in the face. If you don't got a coach telling you to turn your chin, you're going to get choked out. Learning from your coach, going to training with your coach, listening to your coach when you're fighting is what makes a good fighter. I have never met a good fighter that goes into a fight by themselves. They are always coached, 100%, behind the scenes and on the scene. God is your coach, but you have to listen. You have to train. Are you opening your Bible when you're overwhelmed? Are you opening your Bible and reading about anxiety and depression? Are you thinking, well, woe is me, I'm the only one that deals with this? Research David. This is a man after God's own heart. Just Google David's problems in the Bible and read that, okay? You are not alone. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad or feel like, oh gosh, well then why am I failing? I'm saying that to give you hope. If David could overcome it that far back, and I can overcome it right now, and other people can overcome it, it's not actually because we're better fighters than you. It's not because we're stronger than you. It's because we're listening to our coach. And the Bible says faith without works is dead. But guess what? I have another saying for that. This is not biblical. This is John speaking. I believe works without faith leads you to dying. Okay? So faith without works is dead, but work without faith leads you to dying. Well, what does that mean? God loves all of his children equally. You can be a multimillionaire, billionaire in this world and be successful. But when you die, you cannot take that with you, and you either go to heaven or you go to hell. So you've put the work in. You've gotten there. People call that luck. Or, people are like, well, Christians don't make it there and these non-Christians do. Well, you can work through the world. You can have the work without the faith, and you can succeed on this earth. But when you die, that's where the failure occurs. But if you walk through life with faith and you put forth works, you'll go to heaven. That's where you end up going, and that is the prize.
That's really good. I mean, that's a very, very powerful testimony right there. Jeez. The reason why we talk to people about becoming a warrior is because we just see a defeated world. We see a lost world. We see people that just have no hope, and they're not fighting for themselves. And they're not fighting the good fight, and they're not fighting for what God's truly called them to, the strong, mighty purpose that he's called them to. They're so bogged down and fogged up by bad food and bad morals and just a reckless way of living that they just can't get themselves back on track. And, John's life hasn't been easy. He's had a lot of complications. And it's taken a lot of obedience and a lot of discipline to stay committed to the path that God has had him on. And there's a lot of distractions in life, a lot of distractions. And those are godly distractions. Those are ungodly distractions. Those are business distractions. Those are relationship distractions, finance distractions. But he has still made God his supplier, his provider, his priority. And that commitment is what's really transferred into transformation in John's life, and just ultimately just complete and utter change. And I'm just so proud of him for that. For all that we do at Integrity Training Systems for nutrition and personal training needs, we have a 6-month nutrition program. We offer a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers. Take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. Still have 10 spots left in our 8-week challenge that starts on April the 7th. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Just got kind of fired up talking to you about what it means to be a warrior. If you weren't with us, what it means to be a warrior is just really not giving up, and we talked about what that means. And I want to read you a Bible verse here about being able to put yourself in a position that no matter what you're going through, and you'll hear this a lot. You hear this from a lot of preachers. You can read this online. There's memes and GIFs and all of the things that are sent about Philippians 4:7. And when you read it, it says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus." Well, that is a great line, right? Because it's like, okay, like God's peace is going to be with me, and it doesn't make sense. It's going to make me feel better. Well, I challenge you to read the context of this verse. So I'm going to start you in 5. And it says, "Let the gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you." Okay, what does all of that mean? Well, what that means is the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, and that God will guard your heart, requires work. It requires work. So the Lord is near, and he tells you not to be anxious, but he tells you to pray, and he also tells you to have thanks for it. And then what he says at the bottom is, whatever's right, whatever's noble, whatever's pure, whatever's admirable, that's what you have to follow. You have to think about those things. The Bible also says, take every thought captive. That's what needs to be in your mind. And then whatever you've learned from those things, put them into practice. Faith without works is dead. And it ends with, the God of peace will be with you. So yes, he's with you. But if you're not paying attention to what you're supposed to be doing, praying about it, asking for help, being thankful, and implementing it, you're going to be waiting a little while.
Yeah, I was listening to this message today, and the guy said, yes, God does feed the birds in the air, but he doesn't go around dropping worms in their nests. Like, the birds have to actually go out and find those worms, and they have to actually truly work for it. And I think that peace, like true, sincere peace, I think that peace comes through action. I think it requires action to achieve that peace.
Right.
The peace of God is just waiting for us to grab hold of. I mean,
Right.
it's there. It's always been there. No matter how difficult our life was, the peace was there the entire time. But we're taking actions in a worldly way,
Right.
and we're choosing to be in fear. We're choosing to be distracted.
Yes.
We're choosing to serve. I'm not trying to act like I'm blaming people. Like, I'm very much at
Oh,
fault
yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to say everybody's doing this but me. I'm definitely at fault here. But we're choosing a worldly approach, like, let me do this with my own power, with my own might. And it may truly not even be what God's really called you to do or what God even wants you into. And so the reason why you may be struggling to sincerely find that peace is because you're looping around the wrong things. You're seeking out the wrong things for your life, and you're never really finding that undeniable peace. So when he's saying, hey, focus on what's true, focus on what's noble, focus on integrity, focus on, all of these items, it's because that path is what will truly lead you to peace. And if you truly look at those particular scriptures and you say, okay, that's actually a request from God. He's truly telling me what to do. And if I follow this path, I'll end up with the result. And the result will be not that we won't be going through trials, because we're going to still go through trials. But in the midst of those trials, we are going to feel like the presence of the Lord is with us every step of the way. And we're just going to trust, no matter how complicated, no matter how difficult, no matter how tough the trial is, we're just going to trust that he's stepping with us with every step that we take.
Well, Grant Cardone says that free time is the breeding ground of anxiety and depression. Well, what does that mean? What that means is when you're in your free time, which you should have free time. You should have time to, chill out. We like to take vacations because it revs us back up to come 100 miles per hour to do what we do. But if you're constantly searching for free time, if you're taking it every day, multiple hours a day, what he's saying happens is that's where you start to realize I need more money. That's where you start to realize I've got a lot of things to get done and I'm not doing them. That's where you start to realize I'm not happy with where I am in life. And all of that, like surpassing all of that, comes from not having that much free time.
Right.
If you're finding yourself in your free time looping on negative thoughts, then that isn't free time. You're actually in prison. And you're in prison because you're not doing what you need to do to get to where you want to be. That's what God provides you with. He gave you free will because you're made in his image, and he wanted you to be able to do what you want. The problem is if you're using that free time to make yourself unhappy because you think you deserve it or you need it, you're wrong. Now, if you're using that free time and you're enjoying your time with your kids and you love it and you go to bed at night and you're ready to take on the next day, that's free time. But you have to sit around. You don't have to sit around and think about how hard things are. You don't have to sit around and think about how behind you are. And the other breeding ground of anxiety, which it's the exact same thing, it's a parallelism, is that you're procrastinating. Like if there's something you need to get done, the best day to do it was yesterday. The second best day is today. And the worst day is tomorrow. Because you will spend all day today worried about if you're going to get it done. And if you don't think you can get it done, it's not going to be worth pushing off because you're going to ruin today. The worries of tomorrow don't ruin tomorrow, they ruin today. But if you're continuing to chase tomorrow's worries, then you'll never actually have a quality day.
Yeah, another quote that I heard today in the message I was listening to, I don't know who this person was, is procrastination is the assassination of all destinations.
That's really good.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty strong. It's kind of like, okay, yes, assassinating.
That's a lot of nations, but I'm with you.
Assassinating the possibility of getting to the destination.
Correct.
Because you have procrastinated your way out of it.
Basically. Right. That literally applies to what we do for a living. And you want to be healthy and you're not getting yourself in line.
And fear just comes, I think procrastination, causes fear. It causes anxiety. And so we just want to stay on top of what you need to do. We want to stay on top of what God's called you to do. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with our 6-month nutrition program or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. We have 10 spots open on our 8-week challenge that starts April the 7th. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Talking a lot about just having peace, avoiding anxiety, how to get to a place in your life where you're actually enjoying life. And I want to shift and speak a little bit about someone that Debbie and I really respect and listen to a lot, and that's Ed Milet. And he's got a podcast that I think is literally just called The Ed Milet Show. And then he has a book called The Power of One More. And his whole thing is he talks about like how to push through one more on everything, one more rep, one more day, one more hour of work, and how much further that takes you. One more lead,
yes.
One more effort, like where you think you should stop, but you actually have one more in you. And something he also said, we're in a business group that he does, which what I love about this is this dude, like, he's so set. I mean, I think he's worth almost $1 billion. Like he has no business being a speaker for the group that we're a part of. Like the financials that he receives from that, he may not even take a paycheck from it. I mean, it is minuscule, but he does it because he says, if you're not helping people in life, what are you doing what you do for? Why would you do everything you do and not help somebody else? And I love that about him. And what he says is, this was pretty interesting. He talks a lot about where, he gets his energy from. And he says it's the Holy Spirit. He's a God-driven man. He tells people, though, he's like, if that's not your thing, then focus on being a high vibration individual. Well, in my opinion, that's the same thing. The vibration comes from the Spirit. But what he's saying is, you have to find something to function on that goes beyond your physical flesh, that goes beyond what you think you're capable of. And he said something this last week that was kind of mind-blowing. And going back to me talking about the Matrix in the first segment, he said, confidence bends reality. Like reality is there, but confidence bends reality. So reality doesn't disappear, but your ability to bend it through being confident about what you're needing to get done and how you're needing to do it gets things done. And so if you go into something unconfident, you go into something thinking you can't do it, you go into something thinking, well, maybe I should scrape by on this. I'm going to downplay myself. I'm going to make myself worth less, or I'm going to demean myself. Then that's what's going to happen. And he talks about decisions that he's made where, instead of just going into them and thinking, maybe I shouldn't even do this, he walked in with confidence, even when he became a motivational speaker. And what he says is, if a lot of his friends had told him that he shouldn't do that and he's wrong, they would have been right. But yes, they would have been right, but he did it anyway, and he was successful. And if you're told by your friends and family that you can't go on a diet because you failed 1,000,000 times, you're going to fail again, they would be right. But if you're confident about it, you get to be successful. And so he goes through this whole list of things where logic says you can't do that. You can't do that. But if you bend it, you're right. And I feel bad. I can never remember the guy's name. You should Google this. But for like hundreds of years, it was believed that the human body, Roger Bannister, that's who I'm about to talk about. It was believed that the human body was incapable of running a mile under 5 minutes. It was supposed to be physically impossible. They had taken all of these physicists and all these people, and they had studied, and the human body was incapable of running a mile under 5 minutes. Well, Roger Bannister was the first person that did it. And you know what happened after that? Thousands of people ran the mile in under 5 minutes because they had been running the mile near 5 minutes, but they didn't have the confidence that they could blow past it because somebody had told them that they couldn't. Until Roger Bannister, he bent reality. He said, no, I don't believe that. I can beat that. And he led so many other people to do it. So I don't know who's telling you can't do it right now. I'm not telling you to make a dumb decision. There's intellectually driven decisions that don't have to do with getting stuck in reality, but you truly have the confidence that you can press through them, and you need to do that. So someone that's telling you you'll never be healthy, you'll never work out, you'll never get that stuff in line, you can never come off insulin, you can never lose that weight, I guarantee you we can help you with that. But there's so many other things that you're probably being told by the people that matter most to you you can't do, and they're not wrong. Reality says that's impossible for you. But if you go into it confidently and you confidently look for the way, you can bend reality.
And I like, confidence bends reality. I love that. But understand where is confidence coming from?
Yes.
Okay. So, there was a speaker one time that, said, hey, confidence is actually, it requires action. Like you actually have to work at building your confidence regularly. I guess I agree with that, but I think my confidence comes from the Lord.
Right.
And the more time I spend in the Word and the more time I actually meditate on it and I read the study notes and then I highlight something and then I go to the next thing. And I'm like, yes, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
What's interesting about that is that's the work.
I can do this.
That's the work.
Right. I can do this. I can live in lack. I can live in plenty. My God is my supplier. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to not be puffed up, but I'm a little puffed up because the word says I can do all these things. And so then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going out and I'm taking on the world. I'm taking on the call and purpose that God has for my life. You know why? Because he says I'm more than a conqueror. He says I have a shield and a breastplate and that I'm protected by the armor of God. If all of that is real, then why am I not on the battlefield fighting for the exact call and purpose that he's called for me? The confidence comes from the Lord. It comes from the Lord. And so can we bend reality with that? Hell yeah, we can. So we need to start bending a little bit of reality.
Well, and you know what's funny is you say that about, the Bible saying that you can do all things through Christ. I have a shirt that says that. And back when I was a gigantic person with my big old beard, we were on the elevator at one point. I was standing there, and I'm a pretty scary looking dude back then. I mean, I try to smile, but Debbie's always like, "You should smile. People think you're going to kill them," And I'm like, "Oh." So then I put this big smile on. But we're in the elevator. It's just Debbie and I and one other guy, and he turns around and he goes, "Can you play the violin?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Can you play the violin?" And I'm like, "No. Why would you ask me that?" And he goes, "Your shirt." And I looked down and he's like, "You can do all things through Christ, right?" And I said, I can't play the violin, but God would provide me the opportunity to. And if I would work to be good at it, yes, I could play the violin. And he kind of looked at me, and I have a tattoo on my arm. It's Ecclesiastes 9:10 that Deb gave me very on in our relationship. And it says, "Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do so with all your might, because there is no work in the grave whither thou goest." So the point is, you're going to leave it here. So you might as well put everything you got into it. To this guy's point, if I felt a call and purpose on my life to play the violin, God would provide me the opportunity to do that, and I could absolutely do that. So it's like, you can do all things. So when you're sitting there thinking, okay, but I can't play the guitar, or okay, but I can't do this, that's not your call. Whatever's attacking you right now, the Goliath in your life, whatever's standing in front of you, the mountain that you don't think you can move, you can move that. That's actually what you're supposed to be moving. That's the thing you can do through Christ. Don't get distracted.
I also think I just want to speak to the person that is, struggling with your food, struggling with your job, struggling with a relationship. Whoever that person is, and you're saying, I'm just not confident in myself. I just don't have the confidence. I'm struggling with my confidence. I'm not trying to say that that's not a real thing. It is a real thing. You are feeling that. That is real. You are struggling because of that. But then who's the primary, what's the primary cause there? I mean,
Right.
what's the struggle? The struggle is you. You're the only one in this situation that can change this situation. And so if you're lacking in confidence, which I've dealt with many, 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 many people over the years, that the reason why they, keep screwing up on their food, or the reason why they screw up in relationships or screw up on their job or screw up in their finances is because they're not confident. But if confidence bends reality, then you are going to have to put the work in to become confident. Like you have to do the work. And in my opinion, that work is an act of obedience, and it's following through with all the responsibilities that God is calling you to. If you're feeling a prompting, boy, I haven't been to church lately, I really need to get to church. Get to church. There's a word there for you. Your life's going to change from that message. If you're feeling a calling that you need to get into a prayer group, or you need to go on a prayer walk, or you need to pray with some people, get on it. Do it. Get with people and get focused and really get together and build your faith and get stronger because of it. What is it going to take? Is it going to take blocking out time in the morning to be in the Bible? Is it going to take, setting aside time to where you can be at a special event? You can be at a special retreat. Who can you have independently coach you? When I work with clients one-on-one, they do come in lacking in confidence, and I'm building them, but I'm not just feeding them to build their confidence. I'm giving them lessons. I'm giving them a pattern that they can follow, that they then create their own confidence. I mean, I've had clients that have gone from being a team leader to a managing partner, in a firm. And that's not even just one time. I mean, that's been multiple times. I mean, I've had clients that have gone from being line workers to not a team lead, to not a department lead, but a superintendent of the whole entire building.
I've watched people come into the gym that can't even look up.
Right.
They look at their feet.
Right.
And they won't look at you. They won't look at other people. And then they come in and they're like, hey, to everybody that walks past them. They have the courage to come in and the confidence now to talk to people.
Right.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, we help people lose weight. Yeah, we help people get in shape. Yeah, we help people overcome things to run a marathon, and that's all important. But listen, if you can change your life, if you can be happy on a daily basis, if instead of shoving something that's terrible for your body in your mouth to say you deserve that, and you know that you deserve to be happy, and that can be presented to you, pursue that.
Absolutely.
Don't you want the happiness in your life every day?
Yes. But again, I'm just saying it's our responsibility to make that change.
Yes.
God has provided the solution.
Yes.
He's provided people in your path that will help to build you and that will help to equip you. It's exactly what we do. I have a 6-month nutrition program. It is teaching people patterns of discipline. It's teaching people how to cope with the circumstances that come up in life and to not utilize food as your escape pattern. It's helping a person understand that they are capable. They are enough. Like they can make this change. No matter what anyone around them is saying, no matter what anyone has ever said to you in the past, or any times that you've tried and failed, it doesn't matter. We can change it this time. We can actually put you on a different path. But it's up to you to walk into the door. It's up to you to make the phone call. It's up to you to go home and make the food. It's up to you to make the right choice at the restaurant. It's up to you to make the right choice at the birthday party. If you really want the change, your confidence is going to change, and your confidence is going to build because of the choices that you make. For more information on that 6-month nutrition program or meeting with a personal trainer for a free personal fitness assessment, take a look at Integrity Training Systems or give us a call at 636-299-2208. We have 10 spaces open for our 8-week challenge that starts on April the 7th. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to you from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Deb has mentioned this at the end of each segment. I just want to go into what this 8-week challenge is a little bit for you because it's sincerely life-changing. It's important. You know, we've had two huge, awesome, great groups of people that we've watched motivate each other, push each other through these challenges in the last 2 times we've done it. And it's just been amazing to watch. And what it is it starts April 7th. It goes through May 26th. It's on Monday nights, and it starts at 6:30 and ends at 8:30. And at 6:30, we do a 50-minute workout. We just get after it. You know, you do shoulders, we do back, we do legs, all levels of fitness. I got people that haven't worked out in 50 years in there, and I got people that haven't worked out since that morning. You know, it's like they're doing 2-a-days, and we're one of them. You know, all the way back to these people who are just trying to move. I think one of the person's things they told us is when they come in that they had trouble getting up and down off the ground, and now they're doing it. They had trouble walking sideways. Now they're doing lateral movement with a band on. I mean, then you got other people, like I said, that are in great shape that are like, man, I haven't pushed myself like that in a while because it's made to move at your pace. And then after that 50 minutes, you get 50 minutes of sit down talk with Debbie on nutrition. I'm going to tell you something right now. People ask me if I've ever considered doing nutrition, and I'm like, well, no, because I watch how much Debbie has to learn, and that woman has forgotten more about nutrition than the average nutrition coach could ever learn. And I would feel like I wasn't living up to the expectation because I've watched her. And so you get that information. We bring you some kind of food, some kind of snack each time so that you can see that good food can taste good, because we think that's a common thing as people think, well, trying to get healthy, I'm trying to get in shape, I guess I'm just going to eat chicken and green beans plain for the rest of my life. That's not the case. Deb has cookbooks. When you come and you join it, you actually get a cookbook as well because she wants to equip you to be successful. And then we have prizes. First place actually gets $600 in personal training sessions. Second place gets $300. I mean, you're buying into your future here. You're buying into your health. And not only that, you get a great group of people. We had a couple people that were like cutting up and were like, oh, did you guys sign up together? I'm like, no, we just met. They traded numbers. They became friends. They hung out. They motivated each other. People end up texting each other. They make friendships because what you're going to find is people are going through the same battle as you. And the Bible says surround yourself with like-minded individuals. If you're going to a bar every Monday night, I'm not telling you that, you know, you got to quit hanging out with your friends, but maybe you do. You know, maybe you need to be in a different environment. If they're trying to tell you, though, it's just one beer, it's just one fried chicken, and you know you're trying to get healthy, maybe you got to surround yourself with some people that are doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think the approach for the nutrition is to help people to understand what an anti-inflammatory diet is, an anti-inflammatory way of eating, how to control blood sugar, how to reduce inflammation in the body, how to control any immune system triggers, and how to protect your immune system if you were to take on a virus. It helps you to understand the difference between functional medicine and traditional medicine, helping to identify how to get to the root cause of an issue when you're dealing with a sickness. It certainly helps to aid in weight loss, but it's really just helping to allow you to have better digestion, better energy, better mental clarity and focus, to not feel hungry all the time, to be able to curb your cravings, to be able to sleep more soundly. These are all things that are going to be priorities in what you'll learn through that 8-week pattern. And then in the very, very last week, we go into this really great instruction that I teach on deep stretch. And we teach breath work, and we help you to understand it's all mat work. Every shape, every size can do this. It's all about opening and stimulating the lymphatic system, allowing your body to drain toxins better, and just releasing all that lactic acid that gets built up. So helping the body to feel less pain. All of our trainers teach this. It's so amazing. Like in one class, you will train with 4 different trainers during that 50 minutes. These are trainers that are full. Like these are trainers that have been training for 15 years, 20 years, and in some cases. They're outstanding trainers, and you get the opportunity to train with them. Not to mention, depending upon how well you do, you literally could win $600 or $300 worth of training. But
right.
the past 2 of these 8-week transformations that we've done have just been remarkable. Like, the groups of people have transformed in such great ways. So just like to ask that you take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com. Go out and check us out on social media. You can even go to my page under Debbie Morris to find links. We have until April the 7th. Our first night is April the 7th. Should you miss one of the weeks, let's say you're going to be busy for 8 weeks, don't worry about it. We give you the workout and we send you a recorded version of the nutrition program. So don't worry if you're not available for all those weeks. We'll make sure that you get the recording. We'll make sure you're still going to be successful and still get that data. And I literally cook for you along the way. There are some weeks that, we might have, a super quick, convenient snack that I give you. But then there's other weeks that I make baked apples and we make chili and we make all these different vegetables, cooked carrots.
I'm
just
glad to
different
hear
things.
you change that from I'm to we, because I'm going to be honest. I have peeled some things. Okay. And that is like the extent of my ability. But
You did.
I have peeled. The funny is,
like 22 apples.
So quick side note. This is actually pretty funny. We make baked apples, which let me tell you, I am a carboholic. Okay. I had to lose 100 pounds. You don't get 100 pounds overweight because you don't like to eat.
Right.
All right. So I'm a carboholic. I feel like I should start a CA, Carboholics Anonymous, so that we can actually talk about why we eat like starches and candy and all that stuff all the time. But apple pie, man, crumb top apple pie. Like, I might actually cut somebody for that. Okay. Like, it is delicious. Well, this is a way to replace that. These are baked apples. They're phenomenal. And so,
and we put some walnuts that we put cinnamon and stevia on,
so
and we
good.
roast the walnuts, and they give you a crunch on top.
So good. But so we want you guys to be able to try that. But what's funny is one night Debbie asks me if I can cut these apples up. So I go to work. I'm like, all right, I cut 22 apples. I split them in half. I split that in half. And, I do all of these things. And so she comes over and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I have this mountain of apples and I'm super proud. And she's like, that's so good. But I actually need those cubed, which means cutting what I have cut in half. And I'm like, I don't know how to process that. I've been here for 14 hours. This has taken so long. Of course I exaggerate because I'm a man, but it's like, that's what we put into it because we care about you. Like, you have to see. Now, you don't have to spend 8 hours cutting them up because you're not going to make one for an entire army of people, but just to be able to do that for yourself and understand how easy it actually is without my joking. I mean, that's what you get to do. That's what we teach you to do. That's the whole point of our programs. We have online programs. We have the 8-week challenge. We have one-on-one with Debbie. We have trainers. All of it is to help you. When Debbie and I opened this location, our entire intention was, what can we do to help people? And we have testimony after testimony that's what they say. They say they come in, it's a family environment, all walks of life. I have tattoos on the side of my head, and I'm a big guy. And then you've got people that are in their 80s, and I'm training them. And then you've got people that are in their 15 era, and they're training with somebody. You got someone that looks like Debbie, like we are polar opposites, and she's working with people. It's all walks of life because at the end of the day, the world has us all hurting, and it's designed to make us sick. Look at our nation. There are a lot of sick people. There are a lot of unwell people, and we are called to help you, but you have to call us to get the help. So even if it's not us, if you listen to this show and you go on integritytrainingsystems.com and you follow us on Instagram and you follow us on Facebook, what you're going to find is free information. Even if you just take that information that's free and change your life, or you go to someone else, good. But quit fighting a battle by yourself. Just quit doing it. Find someone to help you, because what you actually deserve is not the 3-second dopamine that comes from bad food. You deserve to learn how to make quality food good so that you get your happiness and feel well. Your health is what you deserve.
Amen. I agree. For more information on our 6-month nutrition program, or to have a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, or to be part of our 8-week challenge that starts April the 7th, we still have 10 spots open for that. Get signed up online. Take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you so much, and God bless you.